Welcome to Formosa Dream Chasers.
We're your hosts, Mary Ann
and Ching En.
Please join us as we explore the journeys amazing people take in pursuit of their dreams.
And get insights from their experiences.
Let's hit the road
and get started. Last week, Jason Lin from LikeIt Formosa shared with us what inspired him to become an English walking tour guide and how his journey started. If you missed the episode, please go to the RTI website and look for Jason Lin under the Formosa Dream Chasers program. Today, we continue our conversation with Jason to get an idea of what his work is like.
For people who are not familiar with your line of work, can you give us an idea what it's like to be a walking tour guide? What is a day like in your life? So how do you prepare when you prepare for a group, say for example? What time do you get up? What happens first? What is the preparation like?
Okay, so during weekdays I stay in office and doing administrative work, but during weekends I go outside and then will become a tour guide. So actually the tour we have a training material, so actually what we are saying is what's already designed. So there are some some strategies to make foreigners laugh or to incorporate some sense of humor.
Right.
So if I have a tour tomorrow, I'll get a guest information. So I'll just read through the information and see, okay, what nationality are the guests, and then how many people are there. And I'll just start to think about, okay, what can I adjust to these nationalities? Maybe they are from the Netherlands, from Spain, or from Japan.
Right.
Yeah. So because in this tour we're gonna mention history of Taiwan. So these nationalities are highly related to what we will cover. So maybe we can interact with them when we mention, okay, so Dutch used to colonize us, and then the Japanese, they also ruled Taiwan for 50 years. So yeah, we can try to make them resonate with the things we shared.
Okay. Since you mentioned you meet with so many different cultures and people with different cultures and nationalities, did you ever encounter a situation where there was a big cultural divide, and how did you handle that?
So if you say if there's any cultural divide, I would say that there are some people who don't really know the relationship between Taiwan and China. So we have to clarify it by explaining how the RC government retreated to Taiwan, and then how the Communist Party established People's Republic of China. So you have to let them know that, okay, we are different countries. There's a way of saying that, okay, because China has more people than us, so they are called People's Republic of China, and we are just Republic of China.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the most memorable way for them. And because we've also mentioned the international status of Taiwan, and we also mentioned how China treated Taiwan, and maybe some of the foreigners, after listening to our introduction, they may be afraid, or they may wonder, okay, have you ever thought of immigrating to another country? Yeah, so that's very interesting, because as Taiwanese, we are very used to this situation, but maybe foreigners may think that, okay, maybe Taiwan is very dangerous.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, there was a time when foreigners were curious about the passport. Is our passport the same with the Chinese passport? So
okay.
I will show them my passport.
So you do bring your passport with you. And
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can let them know that, okay, so Taiwanese passport is more convenient than the Chinese passport, because we can go to different countries without applying for visa.
Can I continue with this question? So, Jason, could you share with us some of the most memorable experience that you have had with the tourists here in Taiwan, and what are some of your takeaways from these experiences?
Actually, I just shared some of the answers
Yeah.
in the
Earlier.
previous question,
Okay.
but I can share another one
Okay.
because there was a time when a foreigner asked us, because we introduced history of Taiwan, and then we used some words like Japanese colonial period
Yeah.
and Chinese settlement, and that foreigner was curious why we use colonial with Japanese
Japan.
but use settlement with Chinese. Yeah, so that's a very subtle thing we may not notice as a Taiwanese, because that's a different point of view. So that also made us wonder how we can make our tour more sensitive to different cultural background. Yeah. I also pay attention to the word I use when I'm introduce some of the history in Taiwan. So that's also a very important thing, because in history class we will take it for granted that Japanese colonial, they colonized us, but Chinese, maybe they just settled here and then they are our ancestors. That makes us started to pay attention to the different point of view, and then how I use different words to foreigners.
So what would you say is the most challenging part of this job?
Being a tour guide means that you have to be very agile. You have to have spontaneous response whenever foreigners ask you questions, and there are times when I really cannot answer the questions because some foreigners may ask questions that is out of our knowledge. There's one time I was in Tutuwei Peace Memorial Park, and then the foreigner saw a tree. It is actually banyan tree. In Chinese, we call it 榕树. He asked me why there are so many hair. Actually, it's called aerial root. 气根, yeah. He asked me about that, but I really cannot explain why, because that's just the way it is. I don't know how to explain, because I actually don't know a lot about plants. Yeah, so that's a very memorable experience that made me started to know more about the tree and how I can explain sceneries in Taiwan. Another challenging part of this job is we are easily influenced by the weather. So if it rains,
that's true. Yeah,
we will have less guests on that day. So usually we hope that on the day of the tour we want it to be cloudy or not
too sunny.
Not too sunny, because
not too hot.
Yeah, not too hot. So autumn is the best season for tour guide.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You can easily get really, really sweaty in summer in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get burned. Sunburn.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
Be sure to wear some sunscreens when you travel to Taiwan in summer.
That's true. And also drink water.
Yeah.
Make sure you're hydrated.
Yeah, that's very important.
So most people probably won't think about becoming a walking tour guide. It may be a new career option that our listeners can look into. So how would you encourage people to consider this as a potential job in the future?
Okay, I'll say if you are interested in learning different cultures and you are interested in interacting with different people and you are willing to share, you have the requirements of being a tour guide. And being a tour guide means you have to interact with people, and then you have to know some of the cultural differences, and you have to be willing to make friends with them. So it's important that you are willing to share and you are confident in what you are saying. And let me see. Oh, and if you want to practice your English speaking, that's very important. So you can by being a tour guide, you can practice your English.
Yeah,
and it's a very efficient way.
And you don't have to pay for English teaching because it's a natural, the environment is there. So if you don't mind me asking, based on my understanding of LikeIt Formosa, the walking tour is free. So how do walking tour guides get compensated for their time? Would it be okay for you to give us an idea? Like, how much can one earn if they choose to become a walking tour guide?
The tour we are holding is actually tip based. So at the end of the tour, we'll encourage guests to give us some tips. This is also a good chance for us to introduce the bill of Taiwanese dollar. Yeah. So you can introduce like, okay, on $500 there are some deer. Yeah.
Right.
Taiwanese deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can introduce, okay, $500 yeah, Taiwanese deer on it. And then $200 we have Chiang Kai-shek, yeah, the first president in Taiwan. And then also $1,000 we have a kind of special fish on that bill. Yeah, so you can share, and then you can also say your expectation, like, okay, if you think my tour is good, you can give me like 300, and if you think it is wonderful, you can give me a deer. And then if you think, okay, my tour is fantastic, you can give me the fish. Yeah, you can use this kind of saying.
I see.
And it also depends on how generous the guests are. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So, a couple of last questions. You mentioned earlier that you're very happy with where you are right now with the work that you do because it aligns very much with your passions and interests. Would you say that you're successful in this career path? Like, what's your definition of success? Would you say that you have reached that, or what would success look like for you?
As I mentioned before, I think this is my dream job. So I believe that success, in my opinion, is you can do what you are capable of doing, and you are just happy with what you are doing right now. And then I believe it is connected to your self-identity because, well, you are what you do. So I think it's a pleasure, or it's a gift to do what you can do. And then I believe just seize the moment and just be happy with what you are doing. Yeah, I think that's my definition of success.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
It resonated so much with me.
You have to be honest and true to yourself.
So, Jason, thank you for your time. Is there anything else you want to add or share to us?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be invited to your program, and yeah, it's a pleasure to chat with you. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's all the time we have today, folks. That was Jason Lin from LikeIt Formosa. We hope you got to see an alternative career path through this chat and got a different point of view from his experiences.
If you are curious to find more about LikeIt Formosa's walking tours, please check out their website at www.likeitformosa.com. You can also learn more about their training courses on how to be a tour guide at www.education.likeitformosa.com. Again, this is Qing'en.
And Mary Ann. See you guys next Sunday. Bye.
Listen! Are you listening? This is the sound of my country. This is the sound of Taiwan.
Taiwan, a small island with a whole world of sounds.